In this video, we're going to show you to install the fuel pump on your Subaru Legacy located underneath the back passenger seat. Before tackling this job, you want to make sure you're working in a clean, well-ventilated area because you are going to exposing fuel vapors, so you want to make sure that you are safe. You want the hood open? You want to go ahead and locate the fuse box here on the driver's side portion of the fender. You want to go ahead and open this up. It's going to be two tabs, one on the front, one on the side, pinch and pull, and then you're going to flip this over. Now you can go ahead and look at this here, and you want to go ahead and locate the fuel pump fuse, which is this one here on the lower portion. If you look at this box right here, it's going to be the 15 amp fuse right on the end. I'm going to use a pair of needle nose pliers to gently pinch and pull. And then we're going to set that aside. Now you want to hop into the vehicle. You want to go ahead and crank that engine up. You want to start it. If the engine starts, it's going to die fairly quickly because there's no fuel being pushed into the engine. But doing this actually purges the fuel, so it removes the high pressure from the fuel lines. And then we go ahead and open up that fuel pump. After we started the engine, we let it run for a second and it died out. We're going to go ahead and install our fuse, push that back into place, and install that cover. Our next step, go ahead and disconnect the ground terminal from our battery. Locate the battery on the driver's side of the engine compartment. We're going to use a 10mm socket to loosen the cable on the ground terminal. Okay, give that a little wiggle, twist it up, and set it aside. You know, in the back seat of the vehicle, we do have our two front seats all the way forward, so we have room to work. Now on the front of both the passenger side and the driver's side rear seat, down underneath, there's going to be two latches. So you're going to reach down and just gently pull up. Then at that point, we can slide that seat, pull out our seat belts, and remove that seat bottom. Now with the seat removed, we're going to go ahead and access this cover here on the passenger side rear. We're going to use our Phillips head screwdriver, loosen and remove the 4 screws holding this cover in place. We are going to be reusing these screws, so hold on to those, don't lose them. Then go ahead and pop that cover off. Now this is going to expose the whole top of our sending unit right here. You can see that it's pretty dirty, and we don't want to open up this unit here to the tank with it being this dirty. What I like to do is use some spray solvent and some compressed air to go ahead and clean all of the debris out of here. Let's go ahead and do it. Now whether you're using a vacuum or whatever we want to do to clean this up, make sure you're wearing safety glasses. Now right on the top here, we have the power connector. There's a little tab. You're going to push in on that and lift up on this connector. There it is. Go ahead and tuck that connector off to the side. And over here, we have two fuel lines. One is a return, one is a fuel line that's going to feed. Now there are little plastic retainer locks here. Now you can either use your pliers here to pinch and close that, or just on the inside. I'm using my hose pliers, and that is going to pinch and compress these little tabs. So if you pinch here, you can see these little tabs move in and out. So you're going to pinch and then gently start to slide that line off. There it is there. Now you might have a little bit of fuel loss here. It's nothing major because we already depressurized the system. Just wipe up that fuel, slide that line off. And we're going to do the same for the other side. Now if you're trying to use your hose pliers for the inboard connection here, it may or may not be able to fit in there. Ours is not fitting in. So what you can do is you can use some pocket screwdrivers or a pair of needle nose pliers, something to get in there to go ahead and pinch those little tabs together. and wiggle that line free. Using your 8mm socket, we'll go ahead and loosen and remove the nuts around the perimeter here. I'm just using my 1/4-inch ratchet. You don't need any heavy equipment here to do this job. All right, now we've now broken the seal free. I'm going to go ahead and take one of our towels here, or one of our mats, and I'm going to tuck this around, because when we pull this out, there is going to be dripping fuel from this here. I want to go ahead and protect the carpet from getting that fuel on there. Make sure you have a catch can ready to go to put that fuel pump into. You just kind of juggle these lines out of the way. This is a key tip right here. You're going to take this little handle right here, and you're going to push down and tip it back, or actually towards the front of the vehicle. That's going to allow the front of this unit here to come free. And that's going to be important when you go to reinstall this as well. Go ahead and grab this unit. Go ahead and pull that up. You're going to be doing this at an angle and rotating it, because you have a float on the side of this unit here, right here. You need to get that out of the tank. You're going to take this unit and put it into your can. Go ahead and clean up around the perimeter. Go ahead and remove that gasket. You want to inspect the tank itself around the perimeter. Make sure it's in good shape and that there's no debris on there. Go ahead and take the gasket, line this up. Now this does go in a particular way. There's going to be 2 rubber tips right here, one here, and then there's a third one right over here. It's almost kind of a little bit diagonal. Now I want to go ahead and lower this down in a position. You need to make sure that you don't damage the float unit right here. So what we're going to do is pull up on those fuel lines and tip this down at an angle and get that in there, and then work the rest of this into position. There we go. And we do have to make sure that this is positioned properly. So right here on the center unit, there's going to be a little tab that needs to be facing towards the back, and obviously our electrical connector is facing the front of the vehicle. Now this is spring loaded, so you'll be able to push this down and it will pop back up again. But we want to work that into that O-ring, into that seal. There it is. Feed the back in. Need to get this around the fuel ports. Push the fuel pump down. I'm going to get the back down and into position, and then push this here down. I'm going to go ahead and get it started there. Now I have one of the nuts installed on the forward and the back. That'll hold it down into position. Now let's go ahead and install the nuts all the way around the perimeter, and then we'll snug them down. All right, let's go ahead and snug these down. Just want to bottom out the nut. We're going to do this on all of these here. And when doing this, I like to do it in a crisscross pattern, or just kind of going from one side to the other. Once we get everything bottomed, then we'll come back and just snug them down gently. But we do like to tighten it down evenly. All right, with all of them snug down, I'm gonna come on back and just give it a tiny bit more. Now when we go to install our connectors here, there are slots. There's a hole on this side and a hole over here, and that's where these little plastic clips lock into. So you need to make sure that these are lined up properly when we go to push this on, so that they auto lock once you push it in. These are generally positioned horizontally. Those are locked in. And then go ahead and grab that electrical connector. You're going to line that up and push that on. You're going to feel it and hear that snap into place. Then we're going to take some spray solvent and clean up any of the residual fuel that's around here. We now peel this back, grab our cover, get our hardware installed. And then we'll snug down our screws. At this point here, we can clean out the inside of the vehicle and install our back seat. Now we're going to feed our back seat into position. Now on the back, there's going to be a metal loop right here, and it has to hook down into the bottom. There's a metal hook down below here on the floor pan. Now as we lower this down, we also need to get our seat belts pulled up through. So let's go ahead and push the seat back, get that close to that hook, and we're going to pull our seat belts through the seat. You should get it to the point where we can get the front latches in. Snap that down. Go ahead and slide that on. And go ahead and snug this down. You want to tighten this down. You want to make sure that it's good and snug, but don't over tighten it as you can break the clamp. So you're going to bottom it out. Go ahead and give that a wiggle. We're nice and solid. You're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.